Jody Williams, welcome back.
What's up, buddy? How you doing this morning?
Hanging in there, man. I am paying homage to Team Spur.
Nice.
Got my Cody Merritt jersey. Had to wear it at some point.
What is up, everybody in the chat? Welcome to another episode of the Cam Connection with your host, Ryan Espey, and myself, a.k.a. Rick Martell and Tom Zink. Everybody in the chat, what's going on? Please do not forget to like and subscribe.
Where do you want to begin, my friend? We got, I don't know. We can talk about the events of last weekend.
Judgment Day.
Oh my God. Tell me about that.
Mr. Espey.
Yeah.
Everybody in the chat. What if I told you that the check did not come in the mail? What would you say?
What
would you say? If I told you the check did not come in the mail, what would you say? What would the people in the chat say?
What happened with the tracking number?
Oh, it didn't come in because the mailman left the distribution center before it got finished being processed.
Okay, so it's just a day late.
Yeah, so.
Okay, holy shit. I thought it was like an envelope with nothing in it or something like that.
Yeah, I tell you what, my wife told me, sorry you won't get it today. I about crap my pants at work yesterday afternoon. I was like, okay, what the hell? She goes, yeah, the mailman left before it got finished being processed. So I'm thinking, okay, so it's going to be today. Cool.
Okay, well, we can relax a little bit. No,
once again, here we go. So
today is the day.
Today is the day. Because the original plan was to open it on the show. But again, this was no one's fault. It's just the mailman got a little giddy, eager, took off before the whole thing got processed through. So now we're going to be today. So,
well, Justin, I can clear that up for you. The systems in Canada don't line up with the systems in the United States very well.
But what about Brazil?
You can wire bank to bank, but it takes about as long as it does to mail something. So he had to wire to Brazil, mail to you. E-transfer in Canada is very seamless and it's instant. However, we don't have Venmo in Canada. We have PayPal, but in order to have PayPal, you have to have your bank account or your credit card linked to it. If he hasn't taken those steps ahead of time, it's, might as well just mail.
Do you have a Cash App?
No. Well, maybe. Maybe. Nice. But we just have e-transfer, so we can send money bank to bank just with an email address up here, but you can't do it over an international border.
So many rules and regulations and stuff.
Yes. So it's not as it looks like it's complicated. It probably isn't as complicated as I'm making it out to be. However.
Got it.
Yeah.
Well, we can talk about the event that took place in Brandon last weekend. Do you want to shed some light on that?
Well, sure. Let's talk about that. So we had a pretty successful event. It's the 14th time we've run this event. So we probably would have been, hey, McKella's in here, and I know he wants to represent Manitoba next year.
Hey, Cody, he said you're looking sharp today.
Yeah, Cody, I knew you'd like that. So we had, where was I? Brandon, Manitoba. Series of super matches. This is something that Kane and I came up with a long time ago. It's the 14th version. We probably would have been like 16 or 17, maybe 16 if it wasn't for COVID. So next year's the 15th. That's a bit of a milestone for an event.
Yeah.
So I assume it will be much larger. That means we're going to be back in Saskatchewan for the 15th version of this. Manitoba is now a couple years in a row taking that title. I believe Saskatchewan has actually taken it more than we have.
Now,
but, I mean,
does that mean Saskatchewan will host on the even number of years and Manitoba host on the odd number of years?
Normally.
Okay.
Normally, that's what that means. I'm going to pull up the results of this event, and I'll quickly go over those. But we had right-handed Daryl Stephenson versus Fred Roy. Fred looks like he's training and looked pretty good. Took that match 3-0. Myself versus Solomon. I won that 3-0. Stan Scott versus Brandon Olofsson, the match of the day, in my opinion. Stan wins 3-1. A lot of these videos are on this channel, and I'm putting them up. There's a few more going up today. Justin Thomas versus Mike Kochan, 3-2 for Justin. Ellen Herron, who is a last-minute replacement for Anna Berg.
I thought Anna pulled.
Anna pulled the, well, okay, here's, without getting into the nuances of this, Anna decided she wasn't going to compete at one point. So she phoned the promoter and said, or somebody, and said, I'm out. Well, the promoter calls me. I say, well, why don't you call Ellen? She trains with us. She's in our club.
Oh, come on, Tim.
Ellen says yes. Hi, Tim. Hi, Tim, you sensitive guy. Ellen says yes. She jumps in there. Anna decides she's going to come and pull. Tried to get her super match back, but it was already filled. So Ellen comes in, having never beat Desiree in my opinion, I don't think, and comes in and wins the first one.
Hold on. Stop.
Okay.
So, just so we're clear, hey, I go to promoter, I'm not going to pull for whatever reason, and then last minute, yeah, you know what, Chip, I'm going to pull anyway. What does that do to someone's psyche? Mikhail, what's up? Well, I'm not trying to be facetious, but what does that do to someone's psyche? What does that do to the promoter? And did the other replacement get wind of this?
Oh, I think the replacement just like heard that she wanted to jump back in, but it was too late.
Because I'm trying to figure this thing out. Now, riddle me this. All these matches are already laid out before the, like what, weeks in advance?
Well, for example, like my original opponent was Steve Gaber, and he pulled out last minute because he got the flu because his kid brought it home from school, and he got violently ill like 2 days before we were supposed to arm wrestle.
Yes, I was wondering, weren't you supposed to pull somebody else instead? And that particular person didn't pull, so I was kind of scratching my head on that, but
Yeah. So Solomon jumps in, takes the right arm match as well.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. So yeah, well, I mean, the psyche, there's a chance Desiree wasn't coming if she didn't have a match. I'm not sure what her thought process was, but we came up with a replacement pretty easily. And Ellen jumped in there and looked great. They had a good match. Ellen won the first one. Desiree made some adjustments, came back, won it 3-1.
There you go.
Yeah. Caden Esmond, Nick Penner. Nick Penner coming in, doing what Nick Penner does and just dominates.
And in the States, this would be like a border wars type deal where you got Oregon versus Washington or North versus South Dakota, what have you, that kind of thing. That's pretty cool, though. So next year will be in Saskatchewan. And I'm sure, Kane Hemsing will be the one orchestrating that thing, right?
Not necessarily.
Wardrake, what's going on, my friend? Who was one of the refs here by just so we're clear.
I think Steve Gaber is actually the president of Saskatchewan Arm Wrestling.
Okay.
So it'll be him, and he's got the Nationals coming up in 2 years. So maybe it'll be a good dry run for the bigger event. We'll
Now,
see.
is there like a cup you guys have, and then like every year it goes to the winner?
There's a 60-pound trophy. So it's an argument about who takes it home because nobody really wants to take it home. So,
well, I'll tell you what, in our North vs. South trophy, Gabby got to take it home, take the South one home. So,
yeah. Well, that won't be a traveling trophy either. That one will be hers forever.
Yeah. But yeah. That's kind of cool. 60-pound trophy. Now, is there a plate on there that says, hey, 2023 Manitoba won, and so on and so on?
Somebody suggested that we add a tier so we can do that. But that thing's going to look like the Stanley Cup by the time we're finished.
I was just going to say that, but then every winner gets to take it home for like a week or something like that, or a month. Take all the pictures you can. So here's the thing. So
I'm impressed that you know what the Stanley Cup is, Jody.
Oh, yeah. So, I mean, to the point where growing up, I even understand the Wales and Campbell Conference. Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
Norris Division, Smythe Division. That's neither here nor there. But I understand, like, with the North vs. South, that could have been something like that, right? Because what was cool about that is that even though the trophy was kind of small, it was big enough to where it had all the winners' names on there already. So there was pre-made plates for everybody that didn't know in the chat. North vs. South, there was pre-made plates, right? So it had every, super match puller's name on there. So obviously if you didn't win, you kind of just check that away. But, the thing is that, oh, okay, cool. It has the year, who won, it was cool. I like that, Like there was a moment in the mid 90s, so I would just name off names like Peter Forsberg, Joe Sakic, Adam Denmarsh. I'll just stop there because why would I know those guys, right? Steve Yzerman, things like that, right? How do I know that? I don't know, but
What? No, Cody. It's because he's American that I assume he doesn't know hockey.
Oh, and then I just realized when we left Winnipeg that hockey the season just kicked off.
Oh shit. Oh, ouch, Jake Clean. Oh, my heart.
That would have been that would have been fun to actually go to an NHL game, So
Archdog, if you can believe it, I sell real estate for a living.
There you go.
See those glass trophies up there? Those are for real estate, not arm wrestling.
Yeah, but the belt kind of sticks out more, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So what's going on with that, man? I mean, are we going to put this thing in for? I mean, what is going on, man? Is that Fraser Benoit in charge of that?
Yes. So I got a couple things to say. First of all, you were saying the North versus South could have been a thing like that happened every year. That's not lost on us in Manitoba. Somebody might pick up that ball and run with it a little bit.
Ooh.
That might not necessarily be the same name, but who knows? Maybe you have a Can-Am something or other for arm wrestling.
Now, do tell, because think about it for a second. We're in a good situation, and we already have the East versus West. That's cool. That's the elite of the elites. I will never ever compete on that level. So there's that. And prior to all this, I thought the North versus South would have been something cool. Like, okay, we can do that. But I guess the question would be is who do you bring on? Like if you had the first rendition, right? And we had the 5-on-5, which, that could have been like the Survivor Series right there. The 5-on-5. How would you go about the second edition as far as who you bring back? Would you get new people? How would that work?
Well, I don't know. Like it's gonna. I've got some ideas, but it's something that's it's a long-term play. We're not going to see an announcement in the next couple months or anything. It'll be sometime maybe in 2024. Oh, where Drake's calling you out.
He knows my wrist is all jacked up on the right. Unless
Yeah.
we got in the strap. That'd be the only way I can even survive at this point. So, but Arm Sports says never say never. Now, let's just play devil's advocate for a second, shall we? Let's just say, after some talks with some of the powers that be, Ryan, if Arm Sports Entertainment came to you, yes, Benji Max says Ryan versus Jody. Oh, here we go. The breakup. If Arm Sports came to you, right, and said, hey, you know what? I think this thing could be better than what it was. It kind of got off to a rocky start, but I know we can make it better. And he came to you. What would you say?
I would be intrigued and I would have the conversation because I have these ideas, right? So, I don't think the golden ticket was a bad idea.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, if you're going to do that, you need to have a pay-per-view. So I was just thinking inside my own head, thinking about an event. And I thought, a cool way to do it would be instead of having the golden ticket where someone comes back and pulls in a super match, you could build a pay-per-view card off of, maybe 3 solid super matches. And then everyone that makes the final of the tournament that happened earlier in the day gets on the pay-per-view.
Ooh, there you go.
So you have 3 known super matches, and then you have a few that are unknown. And you're going to put these 2 guys in the finals, whether they're A side or B side. They're going to show up and they're going to pull best of 5 to determine who wins.
Well, like I said earlier, first of all, where would you have it at? Don't say Steinbach, because coming to the airport, that's an hour drive, man. Like, where would you personally have it at?
It would either have to be in my hometown, which, I have the connections here to pull it off, or Winnipeg.
Because, I mean, it would just make sense, right? That Winnipeg is the bigger city. That's where the airport is, yes?
Winnipeg is it's not big compared to most major American cities, but it is big enough.
Yeah, so there's that. And I already told you and everybody else in the chat, I already explained this, here's the deal. If, and this is a big if, I were to win my class, and if my name was drawn out of the hat or the ticket number or whatever, thanks, Earl Wilson, for that. The original plan was you get to, come back for another North or South, and you can choose your opponent. And so I sat there and said, well, if it were me, I'd say, give me Kane Hemsing. That's what I would have said. That was my pitch. Give me Kane Hemsing. So there you go.
I like that match.
Sorry, Ward, no disrespect, but I was like, yeah, that was where my brain cells went at the time. And like I said, after what happened, and without speaking of the elephant in the room with that entire event, the tournament itself was good. For the array of talent that was in that place, it was like, okay, I don't think we focused so much on that because the other situation kind of took precedent. But,
yeah,
again, when you have Earl Wilson there, didn't even have any inkling of pulling. He wanted to be there for Sarah. Totally get that. and then decided, why not? I'm thinking, oh. So I sat there foaming at the mouth going, I looked, it's like, because they did the right hand first, right? They did right hand class first. Tim Thomas was there. He decided to put his name in the hat. And lo and behold, he's in the same class I am. And he's pulling right hand. I pulled left. And when they said Tim Thomas and Earl Wilson, and I did a double take, like, Earl's pulling? Like, wow, Earl's pulling. Oh, crap. This is going to be good, you know? So there's that. Who was the guy that took third? I don't even know his name. The guy I ended up beating.
Oh man.
Real strong guy.
Yeah. He actually works at the bar there. He's from Steinbach.
Cody Merritt says, I would be interested in coming back again. Had a ton of fun. Maybe even take a right-handed match. Woo, yes. So not all was bad with that tournament, you know. It was nice.
Not all of it was bad. I mean, it's probably time that everyone kind of eased off on some people a little bit and let them do their thing to try to make it right.
Yeah. So I mean, all in all, I had a good time. Usually when I go out of country for some keepsake souvenirs, I try to save some of the money. But I got hungry at the airport, so I bought some candy, which I didn't know it was so damn expensive. So I was like, oh, okay. So I got coins left. But nonetheless, though, I still got money from England. Got some money from Canada. I was keeping a Ziploc bag as a keepsake, All right. Only reason I pulled, and even I had a super match the next weekend against Eric Wolf, which he won, by the way. But you won. Good job, Tim. Good job.
Looked strong pulling Earl, so I thought he might.
Earl's. So again, this is the point where. Good morning, Dustin. This is the point where world-class levels, right? I pulled Cody Merritt in an actual tournament. Hand and wrist is amazing. I pulled Earl Wilson in the tournament. Hand and wrists are amazing. So, not that I would ever be in Cody's class. It's just the only reason why I pulled Cody Merritt that day in Hawthorne was because I didn't cut the 4 pounds. So I was like, whatever, But again, to everybody in the chat, when you go against high caliber pullers, right? WAF champions, multiple national champions, and that kind of stuff, yes, there's levels to this. And when I gripped up, I was like, yeah, okay, this is not going to end well. You kind of know right off the bat what it can do. But, you learn they say you learn more from your losses than you do from your wins. Yes?
Well, you should.
Benji Max says I need a rematch with Ward Drake again someday. I didn't know you guys had a thing going on. Yes.
Hey, Jody, we got almost 40 people watching right now.
How come I can't see that?
I don't know.
They better hit that like button. That's all I know.
Hit that like button. We got to cover these left-handed matches too.
Let's do it.
So we had Daryl versus Fred, same result, 3-0 Fred. Myself versus Solomon, same result, 3-0 for me. Justin Thomas, Mike Cochin, 3-2 for Justin. Adam Thompson, 3-0 over Nathaniel Muir. I know I'm not saying that right, and I apologize. Nick Penner lost to Caden Esmond, 3-1, left-handed.
Got it.
So at the end, Manitoba wins with 23 points because you get a point for every match won. Every round counts.
Ooh, okay.
But you stop when the best of 5 is won. So you have a maximum of 3 points. And then Saskatchewan had 17. So we were 6 points up. And then we had, here's some other things. We had 83 entries for the tournament, which in Manitoba, that's pretty good. Keeping in mind that some guys showed up and pulled 6 classes.
What were the classes?
Well, the women's was 0 to 132, which with 132 is really light, man. Like 133 to 154, then 155 plus.
Okay.
Men's arm 0 to 176, 177 to 199, 200 to 242, 243 and over.
Okay, so like your basic classes. Okay. Oh, hey, man, I just came up with something. Check this out, Ryan. So, not to beat a dead horse, but this goes back to the, north versus south.
Yep.
Since Saskatchewan and Manitoba alternate hosting, what if, and again, this is a big what if, because now I have some time to let the dust settle and kind of go through all this. What if Arm Sports Entertainment, not saying it would, took over that and decided, yeah, we're going to have the second edition this time in the States, and then the following year back in Canada. So
Sounds
that
like a
way,
good idea to me.
you know what I mean? I mean, just think about that. Think how cool that would be, But I like your idea too. You get 3 matches, and then all of a sudden, whoever wins the now, how does that work again? You got the 3 name matches already, but how many classes are we talking about that ends up on the Solomon's still sore? Well, you pulled like 3 super matches in like 2 weeks.
Oh, Solomon, I don't even feel bad for you because you were so sore after our super match, and then you entered the tournament.
Ooh, did he?
Yeah.
How do you do?
Well, let me tell you how he did. I've got the results right in front of me. 5th place on the, I believe that's the right arm. And the left arm, also 5th place.
That's pretty good. That's respectable, Oh, did you catch the fix over the weekend with Neil Pickup?
Which fix are we talking about? Because if you want to talk about something that's creating some controversy,
Oh, well,
Arm God is calling their show The Fix now.
Why?
I don't know.
Okay, so before we get into that, yeah, so the fix was on over the weekend. Neil Pickup, Uncle John, Coach Ray was on there, and hey, Neil said Arm Wars, Las Vegas, January.
Oh, he said it.
He announced it.
Wow. Okay. We were keeping that one a secret.
He announced it. So if he announces it, then all right. There you go. And here's the thing. This thing going back, let's go back to what you said. This thing going back with Neil and Paul, and like, really? Like, okay, what are we doing here? I don't know what happened between those two, because when the new Arm Wars relaunched, and I think the first one was Reality Check, Paul Mint was one of the refs. I think the first Iron House, Paul Mint was one of the refs. Now I don't know what happened, but something happened, and then Paul just kind of just got evil and nasty. So I don't know what exactly happened,
I don't know, man. I don't know what's going on. I really kind of don't care either. But
right. But why are you calling yourself The Fix? I'd be like, what are we doing here? Because you want to separate yourself from everybody, right?
Well, unless you're trying to hurt someone or get a rise out of someone or get someone to say your name and react to you, but it's I don't know. I don't know what the end game is here.
Where's Marcus Thompson at? Doesn't he usually chime in on here? Because, man, I'm telling you, out of the 40 people that are watching, you would think Marcus Thompson would be one of them. Now, I like to also play devil's advocate. What if Marcus Thompson came to Ryan Espey in a private message and says, hey, tell you what, March, what is it, 23rd? Ireland, you, Mendaugas, Doskis, what do you say? What would your answer be?
Hypothetically speaking, Someone's going to pay my expenses to go to Ireland? How am I going to, that's going to be a hard one to say no to.
And this is
I'm
around.
going to ask questions though. Like, what are you expecting of me?
Yeah.
Like, do you want me to smash someone upside the head with a can of beer? Because the answer is going to be no. I'm not doing that.
Yes, Benji Mac, because Neil mentioned it. And that's the only reason why I'm talking about it, because he mentioned it. So that way there ain't no, if you go back on the fix and watch, they were talking about it. So that way there ain't no, oh, you let the cow the bag. No, Neil already talked about it. So
yeah.
Do we know who's pulling who? Don't know. So.
No, we don't. I did get an invite, which I have, regrettably declined. I have my reasons, and yeah, I'm sure there'll be other events.
Wouldn't that be cool? Where is Neil? Is Neil in the chat too? That way he can shed some light. Because I think now would be like, man, okay, because I remember there was a rumor going around saying, hey, what about Terrence Opperman and Ryan Espey? You remember that?
No, I've never heard about that. What are we talking about here?
Yeah, there you go.
What are you even saying?
Yeah, exactly. So, something we need to get a chance to really talk about, since we're talking about Armed Gods. Did you see the event?
No.
Okay. Did you see Uncle John's match?
No.
He
if
won
I would have
3-0.
had time, I would have watched it.
He won his match 3-0. And did you see how it ended?
I knew what the angle was going to be, so I'm not sure how that played out. Did he slander the great country of Canada?
In true kayfabe fashion, right? So he beats his opponent, right? It was Canada versus UK. He beats his opponent 3-0. He had his Canada shirt, all that kind of stuff. And then he gets on the mic in true Uncle John fashion and was like, F you guys, I can't wait to leave this goddamn country. Kind of like that, right? Because now Uncle John's relocated back to the States. He's in Minnesota now, right? So he's back in the States now. Upon all that, as he's walking out, he calls out a certain puller for the next Armed Gods, Valhalla. Guess who that person is?
Who?
One Evan Bergorin. Now, this is the new and approved
here because I'm gonna roll this into something. Somebody asked the question online: would you watch a drug-tested arm wrestling league? And the overwhelming consensus was, people would look forward to that, blah, blah, blah. The counter argument to that was, why would you want to watch watered down versions of something ever? Or watch third or fourth tier guys on the arm wrestling hierarchy compete? Well, I don't know why that popped in my head just now when you're talking about these call outs and, these events that are, really promoting characters instead of the elite.
Right.
But you see where I'm going with this at all?
Yeah, to a certain degree.
We're still paying money to watch. Well, it's kind of like Logan Paul boxing Dylan Dennis last weekend. It's not a boxing match. It's a show.
Right.
So we're getting into a show now. And I get it. And now he's turned heel and gone to the American side. He's going to need an opponent and somebody to interact with that's going to bring as much heat to the match as he's going to.
Oh, I love the WWE vocabulary.
Well, now he's found that. So we're going to see a hell of a show, and don't be surprised if arm wrestling plays a very small part of it.
Well, and if you can highlight Jay Clean's comment right there, it says, I really don't get obsession with fake characters that arm wrestling is trying to push. Shit is corny as fuck. So I'll say this, because everyone tries different avenues and different ways to try to shed some light on our sport. I see both sides of the fence, right? When it's not too extreme is when I kind of go, okay. Because I'll tell you how it goes. If, let's just say, and we'll use, Cody Merritt, for example. It's okay, Cody. I'm not going to badmouth you. You're a good friend of mine. Cody's been on East vs. West a couple of times, right? But see, Cody is an elite puller. Not everybody's an elite puller. And not everybody's going to have that opportunity to compete on East vs. West. Not everybody's going to have that opportunity to compete on King of the Table, So when you bring out these different organizations, it does, cater to some people, right? With WAL, that was action-packed. Ryan, you yourself have competed on that stage before. And, whether the fans were real or not, whatever, but you competed there. It was nonstop. They had the running elbow foul, whereas, hey, maybe I might not be able to make it there. That's why I do WAF, or whatever the case may be. It always gives something of some kind of entertainment to people. Now, some people may like the fact that, Paul Maiden got cracked upside the head with a beer can. Maybe some people like that, Yeah, we'll get to the razor blade and all that kind of bullshit in a second. But I think, they're just trying their version to get eyes on the sports, because I'll say this. Remember, Paul Maiden, Evan McGoran leading up to their match, because Beerman had Paul on his channel. Paul had Beerman on his channel. They were talking shit. Okay, it was interesting. I might watch it because, I'm a fan, whatever. But we all know when that press conference came and Ozzy was in the middle and, all of a sudden Paul tickled Evan's beard and all of a sudden Evan took that beer can and busted him upside the head. How many more people decided to get the pay-per-view after that moment?
I don't doubt that it works.
So from that standpoint, trying to get more eyes on the product, that particular thing worked. Now, is it for everybody? No. But for them, it is. So I get why they do that. So I understand some people thought it was stupid, and I get that, And some people thought, you know what? It's all about action pack. We all know, Ryan, you're a pro wrestling fan. I'm a pro wrestling fan. Some people in the chat are pro wrestling fans. Why are we glued to that? Because we all know the match is already predetermined, but we still watch it though. Not saying, I don't want anybody to twist my words. I'm not saying the matches what's that?
I'm wondering where you're going with this.
I'm not saying the matches there are predetermined. What I'm saying is that the focal point is making sure that they keep the fans excited. They got storylines and do all that kind of stuff because, hey, when you think about it, you got BLM, who's one of the Commonwealth title holders now. Are you going to see BLM at King of the Table? No. Are you going to see BLM at Arm Wars? No, maybe. Are you going to see him at East vs. West? No. But he is the current Commonwealth title holder, so he has a home right now. And I think the more organizations you have out there, I think I've spoken about this before on the show, the more you have organizations out there, the more that will cater to certain individuals. That's just the way it is. You, Ryan Espey, have competed on Knuckles Up, that the first one ever, you could say, hey, I competed on the first one. You like the way with the pyro and the lasers and all that kind of stuff. You like that kind of stuff. You like the way you were treated as an athlete. And you're like, you know what? If they invite me back, hey, let's do it. So I get that. You may cater to that. Hell, you might make a name for yourself and just say, you know what? This is going to be my home. If I don't get a call from Core Sports, if I don't get a call from Ingen, this is my, this is where I'm going to go. So I guess, I might have kind of got off track, but my point being is that every organization has something for someone. You've been on Arm Wars. I've been on Arm Wars. Hell, I've been on Monster Factory. So again, it caters to some people, not everybody. So sorry about that rant, but just thought I'd throw it out there,
Yeah, I mean, as long as arm wrestling plays a pretty big role in what they're doing, and it doesn't just become about story, because why not just do a pro wrestling promotion at that point?
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, if you really want to build something up, you can go Ryan Espey, Cody Merritt, Act 3. Why do I say that? Because Act 1, Ryan won at WAF Worlds, 2018? Act 2, Cody Merritt beat Ryan Espey, North vs. South. Act 3, because it's 1-1, rubber match. You don't have to go to extreme and, do all the kind of stuff that Arm Guys does, but you guys tell a story because it's not finished yet. As a competitor, we all want to win, right? You don't want to end things in a tie. That's just what we are. And the fact that right now let's sit at 1-1, just being honest. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm looking at Jay Clean's comment. No thanks, Jay.
I mean, did any of that make any sense though? I mean, there's also like you just, hey, you know what? There is opportunity for a third match, rubber match, if you may.
Yeah, absolutely there is. I mean, down the road somewhere. And yeah, I get it. I get that shows sell, but I just don't want it to become all about that, or else it loses what it's supposed to be.
Yeah, but you're also going to have those events where, you know what, we've been doing this for years and years and years. We're going to stick to that, and that's what we're going to roll with. And that's always good too.
Yep.
So
you mentioned Knuckles Up.
Yes.
Did you see the official announcement?
I saw a clip that Jody, the referee from Poland, I cannot pronounce her last name. Sorry, Judy. But we all know if I say Judy, referee, we all know who we're talking about. I saw her put, was it January 6th? That's the only thing I saw. Knuckles Up is coming back. That's all I saw, unless you have some more light to shed on that.
All I have is that the event has been announced. The date has been announced. I do not know any matches yet. They had told me the date already, and indicated that they have some ideas for me. That's all the information that I have.
And see, right now you're in a prime spot because you can like, okay, I finished my obligations. That was the Mansash event. And now you can just sit there, train, Christmas is coming up. You're still training. And you just sit back, wait for a phone call, and go from there. And what's good about that is that they're familiar with you. And, hey, thanks for treating me like an athlete that I deserve. Thanks for, treating us as us as a Union Victoria. Thanks for, treating us so great. Man, I love that event. And they offer you an opportunity to go back there. I can't speak on it because I'm never there, but I have to go by what you were saying. If they were to say, hey, we'd love to have you at an event, before you can finish that sentence, you would say yes in a heartbeat. True?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, they can pretty much offer me whoever they want, and I would probably say yes.
Ooh, Dan Woodley had a question for you, Ron. You want to answer that one?
Yeah, that is a good question. So, Dan, a few goals. Getting my mind right is one of them. So, decompressing, not worrying about anything for a little while, just kind of taking a little break. Weight going down, strength maintaining or going up, and health in general. So, yes, some flexibility. Yes, I think I've dropped, 8 pounds since last week already.
Probably because of stress.
Hey?
Probably because of the stress.
No, I think I actually don't have any stress. Like, where's my stress coming from, man? Like,
True.
yeah, I didn't get what I thought I was going to get at an event. So, but I don't think that's really stressful for me. I think if anybody's feeling stressed, it's, well, you know who it is. That's about it.
So JP says, Ryan, have you seen more interest in your brand since the controversy with Devin?
There's a give and a take there. So, have I seen more interest in me as an arm wrestler? Honestly, probably yes. I think people have paid attention a little bit more. We saw a bump in subscribers, whether they're looking for because they like or hate something that's happened. Lots of interesting comments and stuff on wherever. On the flip side of that, and I don't talk about this much, and I'm a little reluctant to talk about it here, to be honest with you, but
you don't have to if you don't want to. You
no,
don't have
I'll go there because this is. I don't think that people understand what all the aftermath of that was, and this has nothing directly to do with me or Devin. This is people that saw bits and pieces of it and took it upon themselves to make threats, to come after me personally, to attack my business, things like that. So that's very real, and probably had much more of a financial impact since all of this unfolded. So we had Google reviews being left that I had to try to get rid of. A couple of them are still there on my business. I had lots of different mediums. I probably have 150 people blocked across social media platforms because they were making death threats. I was getting phone calls that were doing the same thing. So there's a lot of shit that people don't worry that didn't know about, and I don't talk about it because if I had talked about it 3 or 4 months ago, it would have just been people gathering ideas to use.
and
It would have
that's
just escalated things. I think me being at Knuckles Up was interesting. Victoria literally thought I was going to get stabbed during that meet and greet.
right.
So I had my back to the wall at all times, and oh, you okay, Jody?
Yeah. Because I've gone through that too, to a certain degree.
Well, a lot of these trolls walked in and they kind of looked at me like this, and I'm like, I could tell by the reaction. I'm like, you're one of those guys. Like, you are one of those guys that said I should watch my ass or watch my back or whatever you said to me, leading up to this. Yeah.
It's sad because back in the day, like the message board, Northeast message board, back in the day,
Yeah.
there's only one troll. We all know who that is. He resided in Quebec. There was only one troll.
The king of the trolls.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate that guys like us, because I went through the same thing, sort of, not so much with the trolls, but with a certain individual. I'll mention his name. I don't give a shit now. Tom Stubblebine, right? That show that's on Wednesday nights that he's a part of with Paul Italia, the Arm Wrestling Buzz, where him,
Yeah.
Pradeep, all those guys. So earlier this year, he was talking about, who Tom on the show was talking about who he wants to pull, who he's beaten, and my name came up. So, I'm a fan. So I like listening to different podcast shows, right? I'm a fan. I'm up here, earbuds in. I'm like, unload the dishwasher and stuff. And, Tom's like, oh, yeah, I've beaten this guy. I've beaten Jody Williams, this, that, and the other. So I'm thinking, okay. And I stopped for a second, took out my phone in my pocket and was looking. I'm thinking, okay. And I decided to comment on that. And I said, okay, yes, he did beat me. And it's ironic because he forgot to mention how I beat him on the other hand, but none of that's talked about. Now, here's my soapbox. Sorry, it came like 10 minutes before the show's over.
Well, before you get into that, let's just acknowledge Stan Scott's $20 super chat.
Double
Stan
S.
with a big win.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. And I just want to say one more thing before you get into your soapbox all the way.
Yes.
So Saul said you should have brought this up when it happened. The problem is, Saul, I genuinely felt like if I were to say, here's what's happening to me, I felt like the people that hadn't thought about it would have ideas on how to attack me more at that point.
Right.
So I stayed extremely quiet because the ones that were coming after my business, there was a small handful of them. And I didn't want to give anyone else that idea to go ahead and do that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then Jay Clean with the 10 super chat.
So here's my thing. Everyone does what they need to do to get themselves out there in arm wrestling, social media, what have you. So this goes back to what Tom Stubberbaum was saying. So I was like going, oh, okay. So yes, he beat me left-handed at a Hawthorne event a couple years ago. And he says that, which is good. Hey, he beat me. But I also beat him on the right hand too. But he spins that by saying, well, I was only in the sport for like a little bit. So you can't sit there and say, well, I've beaten Jody, but yet in that same tournament, you lose to me on the other hand, but then do a 180 and go, well, yeah, but I was only in there for like X amount of months or whatever. Bullshit. So him and I go back and forth, and he get on his podcast show just, trashing me, and I'm a chihuahua, I'm a gatekeeper, blah, 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 blah. Starts throwing out, hey, how about you pull me here? I'm like, no, because up at that time, he was not on my radar. I was not looking for a match for him. I get what he's trying to do. He's trying to be the annoying pain in the ass to get me to fucking jump. I'm like, no, fuck you. I'm not interested because I don't do all that. But claims that I don't do super matches unless, I get 1,500 or whatever. I'm like, you haven't done anything to get 1,500. But if you do, more power to you. Hate's a strong word, Ryan. Okay, everybody, hate's a strong word. This is where my hate comes in. He says he messaged me on Instagram, and I've since blocked him because he's a fucking piece of shit. So he gives out these dates. How about you and I get together? We'll do this match, left or right, doesn't matter. I said no because during the summer, I got stuff I got going on. Foundation stuff. Our foundation that my wife and I put together. And his response video, and this is what pisses me off, because he made it personal. He thought that, oh, you're making excuses, your foundation, yeah, it's a crock of shit. Okay. That I don't play with. The old version of Jody would have fucking traveled down to Austin, Texas and kicked his ass right then and there and leave him laying where he stands. Don't ever do that. You want to come at me? Fine. I don't care. Whatever. The minute you try to badmouth or try to even go in that direction of the foundation that my wife and I put together, this foundation, and you have the audacity to sit there and say, that's a crock of shit, fuck you, right? So, no, I have no respect for that guy. And again, that, I understand people will try things and do things to get themselves out there to get matches or whatever. But, bro, you crossed the line on that one. So I read that and I was just like, okay, you ever been in a situation where your blood boils and stuff? Like I was actually so upset I was shaking. Like he is so glad he lives 2 time zones away. Because I tell you right now, it'd be a bad situation for him, is where I'm getting at. So
bad things would happen.
Bad things would happen. But the thing is, though, I don't think he realizes how many friends I got in this arm wrestling community. So ever since then, he kind of backed up with the shit talking, and I just blocked everything. So I don't follow him no more. I don't follow the show anymore. Blocked him on Instagram because I don't need that in my life. I'm trying to keep my head clear. You know, when you have an arm wrestling tournament, this one right here, in June, and then the following month, you had a basketball camp that we do, same foundation, and you're going to sit there and say that, you know, it's a crock of shit, and I'm just scared, then I got a problem. So I understand where you're coming from, Ryan. It wasn't a troll thing, but still, it was the major disrespect that some of these people have got, that they'll go that far to do that. They'll go that far to ruin a man's business, call up, leave, nasty reviews, have no idea what the hell they're talking about. You're messing with a man's, income from that standpoint. You're messing with a man's, foundation for his son who passed away. Like, how low do you have to be to do that kind of stuff? You know what I mean? And like I said, the old version of me would have fucked this shit up. But I'm not that guy anymore. So I just like, you know what? I'll just block this guy, keep it moving. So that's where we're at. So, yes, Ryan, I understand that. And that is my soapbox for today, folks.
Well, if I can add to it just a little bit.
Please do.
That guy that you are talking about came at me pretty goddamn hard without any effort to reach out to me to ask me a single question, but just went off. And he is dead to me.
Well, Ryan, it's going to be interesting because November 4th is what, Ryan? It's the World Series of Arm Wrestling Finals, San Diego, California. I qualified. I'm sure Tom Stubblebine qualified. I'm going to be there. There's a good chance he'll be there. And we're on the same weight class. And there might be a chance that we meet up in that tournament. And I'm going to let that sit right there.
Don't hurt him. Or
I'm going to let that sit right there. If I see him, I'm sure we'll make eye contact. But rest assured, I'm going to set his ass straight.
There is nowhere in the world that I don't think I can go and hang out with arm wrestlers. And probably could even travel to Ottawa and hang out there if I really wanted to. I think there's certain people that are on podcasts that are starting to get to the point where it would be unsafe for them to be in certain rooms because they've gone after so many people.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway.
And the answer Jay Clean's question is, it's a 235 class. So the is 231. Actually, the World Series of Arm Wrestling is 231, and then the next one will be 232 and over. I'm assuming he's going to make that, but he's so full of fucking vitamins now, although he claims he's not. Like, whatever. I hope Freddy Sanchez kicks his ass on December 9th. I really do.
Now, you were mentioning, I remember what that other thing I was going to say was. You were asking me about the belt.
Yeah, what's up with that? Fraser Benoit, what the hell?
He's still running events, so he just got done doing a bunch of, and of course, I need to mention Stronghold. I need to mention Fit to Fight League.
Yeah.
All upstanding promoters. Never had an issue. Okay, Fraser's doing his thing. He just got done doing a whole bunch of coaching sessions for kids in his area. And he's going to be doing events pretty soon. He had some plans to take it on the road a little bit. Don't know if those are necessarily still coming, but you should watch for events coming from Fraser out in Alberta pretty soon.
Yeah, that'd be awesome, because I know you were talking about how, hey, they're going to get that league up and running again, active, current title holder, that kind of stuff. I know Kane Hemsing doesn't he do the Fit to Fight
Armwrestling League, but he hasn't had an event in a while.
Okay.
Hasn't gone too nuts promoting since COVID, because here we have this situation where, even though that's all in the past now, businesses went for a long time without making any money.
Gotcha.
So the sponsorship is sparse.
Okay. Yeah. I get it. I get it, because, and people got to realize that if you're in this sport to try to make money, it's ouch. What did Ward say?
It's up there.
I had an unnamed guy ask my venue for $1,000 because he suggested the venue and it was successful, so he thought it was owed to him. Is that what do they call that? Buy or what?
Finder's fee.
Yeah, finder's fee. Yeah. If everyone got paid for that, this world would be upside down.
Yeah. Anyway, buddy, we're at our hour mark and over.
We are hitting a dead spot because there's no big, huge events. I mean, November is East vs. West. December is King of Table. Vitaly versus Hermes, by the way, if you want to know. So there's that.
Well, December is going to go crazy because we got Monster Factory, we got King of the Table. November, we have East versus West. Do we not? That's coming up, but we've got a couple of weeks.
It's the 23rd or something like that. So there's that. There's November 4th that kicks the month off with the World Series of Arm Wrestling Championships, the finals in San Diego. Yeah. We got Washington State, December 2nd. We got some Australians coming over. That'll be in Vancouver, Washington. I have my final match of the year. Yes, thank you very much, Mr. Paul Stevens. So, yes.
And Dan Woodley, yes, there is a great UFC card this weekend.
Oh, yeah. So, it's just right now we're in a dead spot. And then all of a sudden it'll just pick up and go off again. So,
well, there'll be lots to talk about anyway, I'm sure. Maybe somebody will watch this show and re-kick off their rivalry with you.
I would. If he does, I don't give a fuck. Like, I'm telling you, I will see that guy, and I'm telling you, I will sit his fucking synthol having ass straight.
Synthol?
And I'm just poking fun. I don't think he's on that. He ain't natural. I don't give a fuck what he says. There was no way that guy's fucking natural. But then again, if he wants to run his mouth, I say, hey, I tell you what, I can go to the bathroom without melting the fucking porcelain because I'm not so full of fucking vitamins, for one. And if you want to jack your organs up, go right ahead. Be my guest. I'll be here when I'm 60. Will you? Mic drop. That's it. Walk away. There you go.
All right, buddy. Let's put
all right, everybody.
Jay Clean. We have not done them yet, but we will.
Oh, yeah. Because that's like November what? Late November?
11th, I think.
Oh, no. Yeah, I guess it's the week after World Series of Arm Wrestling. Yes, we could talk about that too coming up. So that's only weeks away. So, yeah, I'll be going to that. Cody Mayer will be going to that. All the qualifiers will be going to there, and we're going to sit there and we're going to have at it. Lots of money to be had. So
I don't even know what the hell's on this sleeve.
What is that?
Armwrestling apparel, Team Spur, Country Crush over here.
Oh, I should go buy me one.
Yeah.
As a souvenir, I should have bought like a Manitoba jersey or a shirt as a keepsake souvenir. So that's what I should have done.
All right. Later, man.
Yes, everybody, thanks for joining us. Talk to you guys later. See you guys next week. Enjoy yourselves.